So for the next 30 minutes, I want us to reflect on the psalm that we spoke about. And I would like you to turn there because for us to be able to reflect together, you have to be looking at the psalm. Now, just a brief introduction. Psalms 9 and 10 are both actually just one psalm. If you look at most commentaries, they address the Psalm 9 and 10 as one long psalm. And so, we don't have time to do that, but I would like you in your own time just to look at Psalms 9, because Psalms 10 is actually a continuation of Psalms 9. Now, in Psalms 10, as I said when I was preaching, the psalmist is actually looking at all the evil that is happening around him. And it would be easy for me to say that the psalm can be divided into maybe 3 or 4 parts. One is where he's actually asking where God is. That is verse 1. And then from verse 2 all the way to verse 11, he is addressing the evil that he sees around him. All the sorts of evil and how he wants God to respond, but also how the evil or the wicked person is responding. Then in verse 12 to 18, he is actually calling upon God to act. And in the midst of him calling on God, he's also affirming who God is. And in most of the psalms that you will see, even psalms of lament, maybe I should say something about lament. Lament is actually a way of coming to God and crying out to God in the midst of all that is happening, either to you personally or around you, all the negative things, being able to bring them to God, not complaining to God, but actually expressing the evil and the wrong things that are happening to God. That is what we mean by lamenting. But lamenting does not allow you just to stay in kind of the zone of just bringing the complaints to God. It allows you to bring the complaints to God, but also to look at who God is and put your hope in God. Because as you know, as human beings right now, we do not live in a perfect world. So we are going to be faced all the time by evil things, by wickedness, and many, many different things. And so if we do not have a way of expressing, a way of dealing with the negative emotions, a way of dealing with the heart, with what we are wrestling with, and we keep it inside of us, it becomes a route to hurt us. And so lament gives us a place to be able to bring all that to God, but not only to just bring the complaints and the wickedness to God, but be able to lift our eyes and look at who God is and see God for who he is. So in what the psalmist does, and David is very good at this, he brings the complaint to God, but he also looks at who God is. He affirms who God is. He affirms what he thinks God is doing, what God will do, who God is in terms of his character. Because if you leave yourself at in the place of complaining, you do not see who God is. And so he brings both the complaint and the laments, both with the character of who God is, how he has acted in the past, how he has moved, and even in your personal life. In your own personal life, you can write your own laments. And by writing your own laments, if you're going through a very difficult situation, you can write about the situation, but then in the midst of it, be able to bring the hope of who God is and focus your eyes on God. And that is what we see in this psalm. So there is always both. There is the lament and there is the hope of who the psalmist is thinking of God as. So I would like to ask a few questions because this will be more as a discussion and I will be able to make comments here and there. And the first question I would like to ask is, what area of wickedness causes you to doubt God's presence in the world today? What area of wickedness? Maybe recent, maybe in the past. What area of wickedness, if you look at the world today, what causes you to doubt that God is present and acting and active? Any examples? Could be from your own life, it could be from the world.
Other than all like the shootings and the violence that goes on every day, like, something more personal to me would probably be like just minuscule internal like family issues.
Family issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little conflicts here and there.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like it distracts a lot of people.
Okay. Are the conflicts ongoing? In terms of ongoing conflicts, okay?
Or lingering.
Or lingering, okay? Something else? What causes you to wonder about God's presence?
Probably with me, it's just that my husband's condition is so bad that I have to be responsible for everything.
Yeah.
And so it's sometimes frustrating that I don't have any help. I do have help.
Yeah.
But I do have help, but sometimes I don't. And
Yeah.
sometimes, and not being able to really have the conversation with him much because his speech is limited.
Okay. Okay. And during that time, you sense sometimes like God is really not active, it's not doing anything?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, there's things about it that made me wonder, you know, things
Okay.
about I guess maybe it's my husband's way he addresses his illness.
Okay.
I feel like I wish he would focus more on God, that he would focus more on God, because I think, you know, when you're at the end of your life, I would think that that's what you should focus on.
Yeah.
And when you're physically not able to do things anymore, you should focus more on God and Jesus.
Okay.
And that frustrates me that I can't get him to do that.
Okay. Okay. Any other example?
Okay, sometimes I feel like I don't know if I what is do, but sometimes my mind is kind of blockable. But yeah, I have to be concentrate, and you know, I need a God to provider, guide me anywhere I go.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's nothing wrong with me.
Okay.
Yeah,
So when you are unable to concentrate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's nothing bad happened to me. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing major happens,
Yeah.
but even in your normal day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, if you think about your life in terms of what the psalmist is saying, and you watch the wickedness around you, do you feel like the people who are non-Christians are prospering more than the Christians? You're saying yes, why?
Okay, so it kind of ties into the last question.
Yeah.
Because lately I feel like the devil's like, for the past year, trying to get at me. He's made me go through so many trials. I've been evicted, my mom passed away, my car got repossessed, I've gotten into financial trouble, and so I feel like you know, I'm just going through so many trials with the devil.
Yeah.
And I just feel, I see so many people that, you know, some of them aren't even Christians,
Yeah.
and they're having brand new luxury cars, they're, you know, doing well in their work, and I'm just like, but they're so mean to other people. Why
Yeah.
would God, you know, let that happen? But here I am, you know, a Christian, trying to do good, and, you know, it just feels really, it just sucks for me.
Okay. That brings me to a question. Do you think God blesses the evil people or the wicked people?
Lets it happen.
Because some of you are saying no, some of you. What do you think? Why? Don't just say no. Because these are things we need to wrestle with. Because when we watch what is happening, in your mind you're asking these questions. Yes, Mark? What do you think? Do you think God blesses the evil people or non-Christians?
It depends what people consider as a blessing.
Uh-huh.
Like they could be blessing them with a lot of, on the surface, you know, like tangible things.